me now as we take a look at the 2019-2020 hunting season in the fabled brush country along the Rio Grande River, where we found bucks like this one right here. He's got a little bit of everything. Got a couple of cool looking drop tines out on the front of his main beams. I think he broke a drop tine off of his left main beam. His G2 and G3 on the left side are both forked. Got a bit of a kicker on the right side. Starting to get mature. That's the stuff right there that's made the brush country so famous through the years. So sit back, relax, grab something to drink, and let's take a journey through the season and see what all we can find with our cameras. It was a fun season. I think you're going to enjoy what you're going to see here. So enjoy the ride. Here's a handsome buck I found later in the season, late January. You can tell by his head he's fairly mature, even though the rest of his body's fairly run down. That's the kind of buck we love to see, and when all the stars align, there's no telling what he might be able to do. Can make a big jump in a year, or maybe not. There's a little fun deer activity that we as hunters always love to get to see. Even if you're not out there shooting something, it's fun to watch them doing their thing. The antler growing conditions during the 2019 growth season weren't that great once again for a couple of years in a row now. The winter of 2018-19 was quite wet, so it was very promising that we would go into the 2019 year and see tremendous growth potential. But alas, that wasn't to happen. The rain cut off and it got hot, really hot. And in fact, by June, the rain stopped completely, and from June until April of this year, as I speak now, hardly any rain at all. So that compromised antler growth, although, as you can see, still not bad. And then there's youngsters like this, probably a 4-year-old, and you think he can have at least 5-6 more years where he can show off. And here's something special. There's a 15-year-old buck. He didn't break his left side, he just never grew it. That's the best he can do. It goes straight back, but that's a famous buck on the ranch.
There's a nice one. Got a little width on him. I've been watching this deer for at least 3 years. And he's always looked pretty cruddy. Short tine and then horn break everything up. Looks like he's starting to get it together a little bit right now. That's a pretty cool view. 6 on the right and 5 on the left, so 11 point. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of a standoff here. I can tell you the buck on the right, I got a hunter on this year, and he scored 164, making the guy mighty, mighty proud. Beautiful old Mexico buck. I like this scene right here just because of all the javelinas and all the activity. Handsome buck too, of course, but you got beautiful light. It's late in the evening and the sky's pink. It's just a magical time of the day. Everything's moving. Everything's active, and the deer are out and about. Wonderful time of the year and wonderful time of the day to be out in the field. I don't think this buck likes being around those javelinas that much. They seem to keep spooking him off, but that's okay too. Makes for great video. I caught this buck up in a feeder. I'm actually holding the camera by hand. You can see the shaking there. I was able to get up pretty darn close. And as he jumped out of the feeder, out of the feed pen, he saw me there, but he's not sure what I am. I'm just some sort of a camo lump up by a bush. I thought he was pretty handsome. Looks like he's trying to get a drop tine on his right side too. Well, you see a lot more drop tines than we used to, and I think that's just 20 years of high nutrition. I thought this was a pretty scene too. There's a mature Nice, big, wide, tall tine Mexican 10-point. Classic scene, strutting away, walking away from you. How handsome is that? Once again, beautiful evening light. One of the wonderful things about hunting along in South Texas and along the Rio Grande River is that the weather's just gorgeous that time of the year and makes every day be just lovely to be out. The air feels great, it's low humidity, the temperature is normally very moderate. Hey, and you get to catch deer like this almost every day. All of us that hunt the pastures where these videos are taken have managed to take a lot of really great bucks over the years. And that creates the opportunity for a buck like this to get a pass. When we see a buck like this, we think there's a guy that with the right rein or the right circumstances could blow up and be a world-class trophy. And we're all more than willing to swing for the fence and just hope that something like that happens. Will it be him? Don't know. Will it be this buck right here? Don't know. But what I do know is you got to let a lot of them go for the opportunity for one of them to blow up into a superstar. Not that there's anything wrong with a buck like that. But then again, there's a buck like this. Now here's a deer that we've been watching for a long time. Believe it or not, this buck right here is 10 years old. Know him well. He has, what you can't see on him is he's actually got G5s. Both of them are broken off here. The G5s were probably 5 inches long. We call him Captain Hook. And he's a legend around the ranch, and I've had bow hunters on him that had every opportunity to get him, but once again, every year that he's been in range, somebody said, you know what, we're just going to see what he might do next year. And so here he is at 10 years old, and pretty spectacular in every way. And you can see the G5 on the left side, it's not broke off yet. They were matching, so yeah, broken tine on a buck like that in our country generally gives the deer a pass to the following year. I've said it over and over again, but the predictable thing about antler growth is that it's unpredictable. I videoed this deer in the exact same place last year, and he was 5 to 10 inches bigger last year. He went down. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they go down. You can see he's fully mature, but maybe next year we'll see what happens. What I know is you have to have a lot of deer like this in the pipeline, hoping 1 or 2 of them become super trophies in the future. A super trophy like this one right here, for example. Now there's a deer that's starting to get into full trophy status. Handsome fellow in every way. He's an 11-point. He's broken both brow tines off, but he's got mass, he's got long tines. He's just big in every way. Beautiful buck. Let's watch him walk off. Just that's what they show off.
Oh, there's what big looks like right there.
I get to spend a lot of time in the brush country every year, and to this day, after years and years of doing it, it still thrills me no end to look out in the brush and see a giant whitetail like this. Sometimes all you can see is his antlers above the brush as he eases off away from you. You're not going to get a shot here. All you're going to get is a thrill. But what a thrill it is. That's what makes this country so special, is the opportunity to routinely see bucks like this. Look at those main beams. That's the stuff of dreams right there. Yeah. Off he goes into the brush.
Well, we appreciate you giving us this view. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Head on now. There you go. Ha! He can't make out what I am. He can't figure out what I am. I'm hidden in the brush. Yeah, sweet. Good enough. Let's go find another one.
Well, I can't help but show this buck off one more time. I had seen him feeding down a hill, and it was a perfect setup for me to sneak up on him, and I was just getting settled in. He would have literally walked by me. You can see the other rut of the road right there at maybe 10 yards, and unfortunately, the doe right there caught me. She caught me just as I was settling down and hitting the record button, She froze, and of course he froze, and there we are in a Mexican standoff. But still, he's only 20 yards away right there, something like that. And what a beautiful buck. Yeah, look at those ties. How fine.
This video is for a good buddy of mine that always dreamed about getting a drop tine deer. And we found this deer for him, and he was able to sneak up on him right at dark and get a shot. We thought he made a good shot, but we never could find the deer. So there's a deer with that hangy downy thing on his right side. How about that? It's a Lazarus buck. It's not dead at all. Seems to be doing quite fine. A little squiggly. Yeah, I don't think he looks hurt at all.
Here's a scene that plays out all the time. You spot a buck down a road, you sneak up, you get set up, the buck steps out, spots you immediately, even though you're hidden on the side of the road behind a bush or something. You're hidden, you're small, and you see him, he sees you, he knows you're there. It doesn't take him long to be nervous, and off he goes. He's not going to stay around very long, so you can spend 30 minutes trying to get in position to get, 30 seconds worth of video, and that's it. The other way to hunt down there is a lot of people have a lot of success with is sitting in those little pup tents. I got to tell you, I've never had the patience to sit in a pup tent and look out a small window. I like to move around and spot and stalk, but kudos to those that can, because they get fabulous video, like the video of this buck right here. What an old brute. Is that not the epitome of an old warrior right there? Look at those eyes. Both broke brow tines off, but he's got 2 forked G3s. Don't know how old this deer is, but you can certainly say he's mature. He's mature in every way. The eyes look old, the neck's filled out, the brisket's droopy. We've been watching this buck for a few years. He's in a pasture I don't hunt very much, but I know the guys that do hunt that pasture have seen this buck for years, and he's been about that size. And you know what? In our country, right there, that buck will probably die of old age. Look at the scars on the back of his neck. There's nothing wrong with that. Let him die of old age. So what? He's brought an awful lot of thrills just getting to see him and getting to video him. But there's some bigger ones out there. It amazes me all the different antler configurations that you see in this country, all the different genetic variations. Some really wide deer, some really tall deer, heavy deer, a little bit of everything. That diversity makes it so special. This is another one of those bucks that went down quite a bit from last year. He was bigger, he had longer tines, and was more filled out, but everything about him says promise for the future. We'll see. But to me, this is the classic South Texas, Northern Mexico look there. Wide, tall, lots of points, beautiful buck, beautiful bucks. Same thing here. Just another great looking deer. Very typical. This deer isn't that old. He's probably a 5-year-old, but got that classic mainframe 10 or 12 points, and it's just beautiful. Another one for the pipeline right there. That's one of the reasons we take these videos, is to keep up with these deer, and it's the only way we can remember them all and see how they compare one year to the next. I was out hunting with a buddy of mine, and we'd had a really great afternoon. We'd seen a lot of bucks, had a lot of fun, and we were driving back to the ranch, and I said, you know, it's never over till it's over. And then we rounded the corner, and it was just about dark. You could barely see, and we bounced into this fellow right here. I know this buck, been watching him several years, but this was the first time I'd seen him this season, and I'm bailing out of the truck, grabbing the camera, Don't know how big he is, but I know one thing for sure. He's big, he's beautiful. I'm going to have to get a better look at that deer. Look at that drop time. Take your breath away. Now he's out in an oat field here, and he'd obviously come out just at dark. Let's see if we can't get a closer look at him. So sure enough, several days later, I'm out scouting with my camera. I actually don't have my gun with me at this particular time, which a lot of people would consider a fairly serious mistake. And I found the buck again. He's found me at the same time. He's locked in on me. But my gun's back in the truck, so I've got to make an important decision here. Do I video him, or do I run go get the gun? Truth is, I stayed with the camera. But then I came back later, and the tides turned in my favor.
Check this guy out. Man, I've had to take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to compose myself a little bit. I'm pretty shook up. What a buck. I've been sitting in the dirt, saw this bad boy before the season opened. And I've been chasing him for a couple of weeks now, sitting in the dirt. It's dirty, it's dusty, but here he is. Look at that drop time. Amazing. Beautiful buck. You know, it's going to be 90 degrees today, certainly in the 80s. Hunting Old Mexico on December the 14th. Warm, beautiful. You can get rewards like this. How exciting. I'm shaking. I normally know what to say, but I'm not sure right now. But I'm very proud. It's very exciting. Here we go. I'm going to call my buddies. I can't wait to talk about this. Fun.